It's War Dragon time, RPW here with another episode of Back to the Basics. Now before we get started in today's video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and then leave me a comment. I love the comments, guys. Share this video with somebody you might know that needs it. And then if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Now today we're going to be going over the first part of this two-part series about the fundamentals of War Dragons. It's about the basic playing of the game on like a daily basis, just or monthly basis, however you want to divide it up. Just the basic fundamentals that every new player should know about playing War Dragons. So we're going to call it the fundamentals. And I just love this image back here, right? Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. All right, so what are the fundamentals? Well, that would be the dragons, the base, your attacking, defense, seasons, how you play together with teamwork, the different strategies across the game, and the resources available to you. Now, when I say resources, guys, I don't mean like gold or lumber or food. I mean the resources as in, for example, RPW Gaming is one resource out here that loves to help smaller players develop their gaming experience in War Dragons. Now, first thing is we got to go over the important factors of each one. Some are going to be more important to you than others. Now, each of these importances are going to depend on your play style, how much time you have, and so forth. Now, for me personally, I think everybody should have one major aspect of importance over the actual breeding of your dragons. That means, gaining those tokens so you could breed as much as you can, and then really basing your daily information that you bring in or your daily resources you bring in towards just that. So each thing is going to have a different set of priority beyond that really is personal to you. But let's go ahead and jump in to the fundamentals of War Dragons. Now, the first thing I really want to go over is dragon fundamentals. And this is just the basis of understanding dragons, okay? Dragons within the game. That's breeding them, spell use of each dragon, flying them, including evolving, not just, building XP and building them up, but using evolution stones to build them up, runes for them, and which ones you should choose, for example, in each event. So we're going to go over this right now. It's going to be a very verbal conversation about this specific thing. Okay, so the first thing I really want to go over is breeding. I've got my castle, of course, closed down because it's leveling up. But as you should know, breeding your dragon is going to be going into the castle, breeding up your dragons, and then putting them over here in the incubator, right? Building them up through breeding is an extremely important thing. As you'll notice here, if I go and I click swap, leveling up your dragons and getting them built up is going to be a major priority for you. What does this mean? This means you're going to have to get as many egg tokens as possible by doing things like missions, choosing the proper lines. Let's say that you are a little guy. Base boosts is something you should never go for. And the reason I say that is because, in my opinion, I should say it. Let me put this out. This isn't a factual thing. This is an opinionated thing. But in my opinion, the base boost is not going to be a huge importance for you because you're going to be more concerned about building up your dragons than building up your base. And that's actually our backwards thinking when we are little, because we're tired of getting hit. We want to build up our base, be stronger. We think about that aspect versus the opposite. So when you're choosing your prizes in the season, you need to try to keep it in a zone where you're going to get things like egg tokens. Riders will give you egg tokens. Your dragon branches are going to give you egg tokens. And you're really going to want to make sure that you get the seasonal boost as well. And the reason is because it's going to give you an increased amount of egg tokens every time you do your missions. So this is a big one, guys. This is the most important, in my opinion, for especially the lower level player, is putting dragons in the main aspect of things. Now, I don't want to lose sight of this. So again, that's the most important thing, but you're also going to have to utilize and learn how to fly specific dragons. Now, flying dragons, you can look at the last video I did about the different classes and how you fly them specifically, but by knowing their spell use is going to allow you to fly them properly. Okay? And knowing what dragons and their spells you're best with will help you choose the right dragon that you might need in an event. So keep that in mind whenever you're learning how to fly dragons and you're learning how to do spells. Which ones are you best with? Or even when it comes to the actual classification of dragon, like some people are not that great at hunters, or if you have an issue with your hands like arthritis or whatever, maybe warriors or something that's much easier for you. So this is going to help you, for example, in understanding and choosing your dragons. And then of course, in understanding what evolving dragons is. There are people out there that'll go and they'll just select several dragons, not realizing that just getting to gold is not going to help them in any manner. Getting those evolution stones as far as you can is a very important factor. Now, getting them all the way up as, let's say, a level 87, that's not really that big of a deal. If you want to get 3 dragons at a platinum level at that level, then that's okay. But as you get larger, you're going to want to really push yourself to go beyond that point with these dragons. Now, you also need to understand runes. Whenever we went over runes a long time ago in another video, my husband just learned that, certain runes match up with certain spells. So make sure that those are adding up properly as well. So again, you got your breeding, you got your runes, you got flying, choosing whenever it comes to the dragons in the events, understanding that the evolution stones are important, and then spell use, and then of course knowing when and when not to boost your dragon. Sometimes that's a waste of resources. If you don't need to boost it, turn it off. I'm bad about that. And then of course, making sure you get out there, get your XP runs, and build up those dragons. That's also important, even on the little guys now, because of the new events that they've got out there. So if you have any specific questions that you would like me, to really focus on a future video for next season, be sure to put that in the comment section below if it has anything to do with the basic fundamentals of dragons. That way I can put out the one that you guys are most needing knowledge in and really put in that area. I would think it would either be in the area of runes or spell use, but you never know. It might surprise me. So anyways, again, put that in the comments section below. Now let's go over the basic fundamentals of bases. Now what does this mean? The base is where your home area is, that stuff you want to protect. And in this you need to learn how, the proper levels. For example, some people don't understand that someone's level of a base is different than their level of their towers. How to properly level up without over leveling, utilizing perches, towers, runes, boosts, and many other things. So with this being said, I really want to make the basic fundamentals, again, a video where we're just going over the things you need to learn, the things you should be searching up and researching. But there are a few things I want to go over with you in this one, because there's something I'm noticing in bases across the land of smaller players that I think is a huge mistake that you should understand. And that is not making it to where whenever you put up a tower, like for example, if you put up a lightning tower, that you don't overdo that in one space, okay? For example, if you put 2 of your storm towers on one island, they're actually going to defeat the purpose. You want 1. If you put tons of the same type, someone with a resist to that one type of tower on that one island is just going to be like, oh, this is nothing. So one thing I want you guys to do is learn, go research, choosing tower placement, which is going to be the thing that I'm going to go over with you guys in next season whenever we go through bases, is going to be tower placement. I think this is a very important aspect for the small player. All right, so when it comes to attacking fundamentals, this is very hand related to understanding the basics of base building. And the reason is because when you go look for a base to attack, before you set that attack, you need to understand what you're looking at. That's how you're going to be able to properly choose your opponents and what spells, when you're using your spells, to utilize. It's also understanding the basics of flying and then how to prime for that attack. So again, if you look at the base and you understand the way that it's set up and what each tower does, then you're going to be able to prime, which is picking the proper dragon or adding a particular boost to that dragon before you go in on that base. And the other thing is tower level. Some players think, oh, okay, well, it's only a defense power of 1.5 million. But then it's like, oh, wait, but it's a level, it's got all level 40 towers, which, I mean, that does not even add up. But the point is, you don't want to go by the total defense or attack power of that base. You're going to want to go towards understanding what's your maximum level tower that your dragon can take. because sometimes that is more important to understand than the entire picture, okay? This is one of those areas where details are very important. So if you ask a big player, hey, can you back me? And you say, what level should I go for? And they tell you, a level 400. Okay, so you go and you hit the level 400, but they didn't realize there was a level, 90 tower in there because this guy really focused on base building over leveling his dragons, right? So this is something you really need to be able to grasp the concept of, is understanding tower level and how much stronger a tower level itself is compared to an entire big picture of a base attack pattern. And the rest is more understanding both, not only the base, but the dragons. So if there are certain things on there and your dragon has a specific resist, is it going to be something that allows you to get through that better? For example, if it's got a bunch of flax, you're going to want to choose a dragon that's got some flak resists, because this is going to help you in taking that base. And the other thing is defenders. When defenders come in, they are going to be using things like hammers to rebuild like crazy. So if you chose a base that's, for example, wartime, and you're like, I'm going to take this base, it's a level 400, I'm a level 400, and I know that you guys watching this, not all of you are level 400s, but let's say he's level 400, you're a level 400, and you're like, I can get this. I take out level 450s all the time. The moment a defender walks in there, that level becomes almost inaccurate. So just keep that in mind, that defenders are also going to change up the way that you strategize yourself and the dragons that you choose when you're flying on a base. And the way that they do the wars now makes that even more important. So please understand that. Now, speaking of defenders, the next thing is defense fundamentals. This is something that everybody should understand fully. Now, the things you should understand is how to use things like your hammer, your shield, and your sword. You're going to need to understand the basic layout of each base and how they work with the dragons that they fly in. You need to also understand that certain attackers are going to have a certain, ability on that base. Like some are better with hunters, for example. So they may look like they're not doing very well because they've got a hunter in there, but they're trying to get XP on that dragon. Like it has nothing to do with anything. Then all of a sudden they come in with a warrior and they destroy it. So what kind of effects does this put on the dragon? And last but not least, super shots. Super shotting things that are most important is a very big thing. So what I mean by this, if a dragon comes in that has the ability to resist dark flak hits, okay? And you are sitting there just putting stuff on the dark flak, right? The super shot dark flak, because another base you defended, the dark flak was very utilizable by doing that. Well, not in every case is that going to be the best solution, because as dragons come in, each dragon will be different. So keep that in mind when it comes to your super shots. Sometimes super shots are going to be best used on rage draining, because the moment they come around, like Pathox, if he's got all this rage, he comes around and he starts attacking that island, there's nothing you can do because he's going to hide. He's going to use his little cloak thing, whatever it's called. He's going to hide under it, and then all your super shots are going to be wasted. It's going to destroy everything. So you're going to want to utilize their mage rage draining islands to take out stuff first. So really pay attention to what dragon is coming in first. Now, this is what I'm going to be going over in next season when it comes to the defense fundamentals. But when it comes to defense, this is really an important aspect, is understanding what the layout is, what the dragon coming in is, and what you're doing that can really make that effective. We're going to be going over the other 4 things under the fundamentals in next part 2 of this series. And then, like I said, we're going to be breaking these down, the more important ones, as we move along out of the fundamentals of War Dragons in next season. So pretty excited about that. If there's anything you want to learn specifically, be sure to put that in the comment section below so we can go over it. I had mentioned that in dragons, but under anything about base or attack or defense or dragons, be sure to add that into the comment section below. All right, guys, I will see y'all next time. Happy flying.